I've been a law enforcement ranger at Yellowstone for 9 years. Traffic violations, wildlife harassment, search and rescue, standard park service work. But there's one assignment nobody wants: patrol duty in the Idaho section. Most people don't realise Yellowstone crosses state lines. A 50 square mile strip sits inside Idaho, the Bachelor region. Remote, dense forest, no facilities. We call it something else when we're off duty: the zone of death. It's based on a real constitutional problem. Yellowstone falls under federal jurisdiction, Wyoming's district court, but this Idaho section creates a legal nightmare. The Sixth Amendment requires juries from both the state and the district where the crime occurs, but this area is in Idaho, but under Wyoming's federal district. 0 Idaho residents live in this federal district. You can't form a constitutional jury, and no jury means no trial. A law professor named Brian Catt published a paper about it in 2005. For years, it was just academic theory, something lawyers debated, until August the 14th, 2023. I was 4 miles into the restricted zone, checking for illegal camping, poaching activity, standard patrol protocol. I saw smoke rising through the lodgepole pines, campfire, in a total fire ban area. I approached on foot, hands on my side arm. The smell hit me 30 yards out. Not wood smoke, metallic, copper, sweet, burning flesh. "National Park Service," I called out. "Step away from the fire." A man emerged from behind a large pine. Mid-40s, clean-shaven, expensive outdoor gear. His hands were covered in blood, fresh, still dripping. I drew my weapon. "Get on the ground, hands behind your head, now!" He didn't move, just smiled, calm, almost amused. "Check your GPS, Ranger," he said quietly. Behind him, I saw a body. Female, early 20s, throat cut. Her eyes were still open. "Get down!" I screamed. "We're 1.2 miles inside the Idaho border," he continued. His voice was steady, rehearsed. "This is the zone of death. You know what that means." My blood went cold. He knew. This wasn't random violence. This was planned. "I'm going to walk away now. If you arrest me, I'll demand trial. You can't impanel a constitutional jury from this district. The case gets dismissed. I've read the Catt paper 3 times. I know exactly how this works." He started walking, slowly, deliberately, maintaining eye contact. Every instinct screamed to pull the trigger, but I couldn't execute an unarmed man. I'm a federal officer. I have rules, even when they don't. I radioed for backup, kept my weapon trained on him until he disappeared into the forest. It took 4 hours for the response team to arrive. We recovered the body. Jane Doe. No identification. No missing person report match. We launched a manhunt. Found his rental car 3 days later at a trailhead in Montana. Paid for with a stolen credit card under a fake name. Forensic pulled his DNA from the scene. No matches in any database. The FBI took over the investigation. They told me to stop discussing the zone of death. Said it would encourage copycats. 3 weeks later, we found another body. Same area, same method, different killer. We caught him 2 miles from the scene. He didn't run, just smiled. "You know where we are," he said. "You can't touch me here." He confessed to everything, described the murder in detail, showed us where he hidden the weapon. The US attorney reviewed the case for 2 days, then declined to prosecute. "Constitutional grounds," the report said. He walked free. The word is spreading now. Reddit threads, true crime forums, YouTube videos. People analysing the legal theory, confirming if it's real, discussing it like dark tourism. Last month, we denied 47 backcountry permit applications for the Idaho section, all from different people, all citing academic interest in constitutional law. We've tripled patrols, installed trail cameras throughout the zone, but it's 50 square miles of wilderness. We can't monitor everything. 2 weeks ago, one of our trail cameras captured footage. 2:47 AM, a man dragging something wrapped in a tarp. He stopped directly in front of the camera, looked up at the lens, and smiled. We haven't found that body yet, but we know it's there, somewhere in those 50 square miles, where murder is legal and the killers know it. That ranger patrols a place where the law can't reach. The next story takes place in Pelican Valley, where something started hunting grizzly bears and collecting their tracking collars as trophies. Pelican Valley is closed to the public, March through July, completely restricted. Even when open, it's day use only, 9 AM to 7 PM, no camping, no off-trail hiking. The reason? Highest grizzly bear density in the lower 48 states. I work in bear management for Yellowstone. We track populations, monitor health, collar dominant males. We know every bear in that valley. We name them, study their territories, document their behaviour. There was one we called Scarface, 22 years old, 600 pounds, an apex predator, king of Pelican Valley for 6 years. On September the 12th, his GPS collar sent a mortality signal. Stationary position, no vital signs. Probably old age, my supervisor said. He was getting up there. We flew in by helicopter at first light. The silence hit me immediately. Pelican Valley is usually alive with sound. Birds, insects, wind through grass. That morning, dead quiet. Nothing moved, nothing calling, just silence. We tracked the collar signal to a grove of lodgepole pines. The smell reached us before we saw the body. Not decay, something else. Must, ozone, sulfur. Wrong. We found Scarface in a small clearing. He wasn't dead from old age. He was broken. His spine was snapped, folded backwards at an impossible angle. 600 pounds of apex predator, bent in half like a toy. Another bear, I whispered. My partner, Sarah, was examining the ground. She shook her head slowly. Look at these claw marks, she said. Deep gouges in the soil, drag marks leading away from the body. Scarface had been moved after death, positioned deliberately in the clearing. Why would a bear move a kill? I asked. Bears don't, Sarah said quietly. That's when I looked up. 10 feet up a massive lodgepole pine, wedged in a fork of thick branches, a structure, woven from branches deliberately constructed, like a nest, but bears don't build nests. Sarah, I said, look at the tree. We approached slowly. Inside the woven structure were objects, radio collars, 7 of them, from bears that had gone missing over the past 2 months. We assumed equipment failure, battery death, but they were all here, arranged in a perfect circle, like trophies. This isn't possible, Sarah whispered. Bears don't collect, they don't weave, they don't display kills. I pulled out my radio to call it in. That's when I heard it, chuffing, like a bear's vocalization, but wrong, too rhythmic, too controlled, too intelligent. It was coming from the tree line, 50 yards away. I activated my thermal imaging scope, large heat signature, upright posture, standing behind thick pines, watching us. The heat distribution was wrong, too much thermal concentration in the head region, too little in the limbs, not a bear signature. "We need to leave," Sarah said, "right now." The chuffing got louder, closer. I scanned again. The signature had moved, 20 yards closer. "Back to the helicopter," I said. "Don't run, walk." We moved slowly, deliberately, standard bear protocol. Never run from a predator. But every instinct screamed to sprint. We were 30 yards from the clearing when it stepped out. I didn't see it clearly, just movement, fast, impossibly fast. It covered 50 yards in maybe 3 seconds. We broke protocol. We ran. The helicopter pilot saw us coming, engine already running. We jumped in and lifted off as it reached the clearing. Through the thermal scope, I watched it stop, stand upright, 8 feet tall, just looking at us. Then it turned and walked back into the forest, unhurried. The official report said territorial dispute between dominant males, natural bear-on-bear predation. But they closed Pelican Valley 2 weeks early that year. Habitat restoration, the press release said. I know the truth. We're not protecting the habitat, we're protecting people from what lives there. I still monitor GPS collar data every day. In the past 4 months, 6 more signals have gone dead. All in Pelican Valley, all the same pattern. Sudden stop, no movement, mortality signal. Last week, a trail camera captured something, 3:17 AM, movement through the valley, upright, bipedal, carrying something. The image was blurry, but I could see what it was carrying, a radio collar, still transmitting. And yesterday, something else appeared on that same trail camera, my old ranger jacket, the one I lost on a patrol 3 years ago, hanging from a branch right in front of the camera, like it was placed there for me to see. That ranger found something that collects trophies from its kills. The final story takes place in Hayden Valley, where 1,500 bison stampeded at the exact same time every night, away from something that showed up cold on thermal imaging, something that feeds on heat itself. Bison are predictable animals. They graze, they rest, they migrate along established routes. They don't stampede without triggers. Walls, lightning, gunshots, vehicle backfire, always a cause. I'm a data analyst for the Yellowstone Wolf Project. We use thermal imaging cameras to monitor predator-prey interactions throughout the park. Real-time feeds, 24-hour coverage. Hayden Valley is our primary study site. July the 14th, 2024, 11:43 PM. Our seismic sensors triggered. Ground vibration, significant movement. I pulled up the live thermal feed from Hayden Village. The entire herd, approximately 1,500 bison, was stampeding. Full sprint, northbound, coordinated panic response. I immediately scanned for wolf pack signatures. Nothing. No predators, no lightning, no obvious trigger. The stampede lasted exactly 4 minutes, then stopped as suddenly as it started. I flagged it as anomalous and filed a report. July the 15th, 11:43 p.m. Same time, same stampede, same duration. July 16th, 11:43 p.m. Again. Animals don't follow clocks. Instinctive behaviour doesn't synchronize to the minute. This was impossible. July the 17th, I presented the data to my supervisor. 3 nights, exactly same time, no visible trigger. Equipment malfunction, she suggested. I checked. All systems normal. This is real. July the 19th, Ranger Mike Sorensen volunteered for field observation. 20-year veteran, former military, unshakable. I'll park on the ridge overlooking the valley. He radioed at 10:30 p.m. Get direct eyes on whatever's triggering this. Copy that. We'll monitor thermal from here. 11:40 p.m. Mike, status? In position. Herd is calm. Normal grazing behaviour. No weather anomalies. Clear sky. I watched the thermal monitors. Hundreds of red heat signatures. Warm bodies scattered across the valley floor. Hundreds of red heat signatures. Warm bodies scattered across the valley floor. Just normal distribution. 11:42 p.m. Mike, see anything unusual? Negative. Dead quiet out here. Not even wind. 11:43 p.m. A new signature appeared on my screen. Not from the forest edge, not approaching from outside the herd. It appeared inside the herd, centre of the thermal image, but it wasn't red. It was blue, dark blue. In thermal imaging, blue means cold, below ambient temperature, freezing. Mike, check your thermal, 3 o'clock from your position, inside the herd. I see it. What the hell is that? Unknown. Can you get a visual? Trying. My windshield just fogged up. Temperature inside my truck just dropped. It's freezing in here. On my screen, the blue signature was moving. Not running, gliding, bipedal, upright posture, 7 to 8 feet tall, walking through the bison herd. Everywhere it moved, the animals scattered, parting around it like water around rock. They could sense it, something we couldn't see with naked eyes. It's moving towards me, Mike's voice crackled. My breath is fogging. I can see frost forming on the inside of my windows. Mike, start your engine, just get out of there. I'm trying. Engine's dead. Battery's completely drained. All electronics are failing. On screen, the blue signature reached Mike's truck. The truck's heat signature, the warm engine, the heated cab, it started turning blue, rapidly cooling. The thermal camera was watching something drain heat from the running vehicle. Mike, respond. Static. Mike! The blue signature stood next to the driver's side door. For 30 seconds, it didn't move, just stood there. Then it faded, dissolved into ambient temperature, gone. The bison stampede stopped immediately. Mike, do you copy? Nothing. I dispatched quick response team immediately. They reached Mike's truck at 12:15 a.m. and what they found made no sense. Frost covered the entire vehicle, an inch thick, in July, in 70-degree weather. All the windows had shattered, imploded inwards from external pressure, like something had compressed the air around the vehicle. The interior was coated in ice, dashboard, seats, steering wheel, everything frozen solid. But Mike wasn't there. No blood, no signs of struggle, no tracks leading away, just an empty, frozen truck. We searched for 3 weeks, drones with thermal imaging, search dogs, helicopter sweeps, ground teams covering every square mile. Nothing. Mike Sorensen vanished. The official report listed it as medical episode with substantial disorientation, wandered from vehicle, succumbed to elements. But I have the data. I saved the thermal footage before they wiped the servers. I watch it sometimes, late at night. The way the blue signature moved. It didn't walk, it glided. Physics says heat transfers from hot to cold. Warm objects lose energy to cooler surroundings. That thing wasn't just cold, it was a heat sink, absorbing thermal energy from everything around it. The warmth of the bison, the heat of the engines, life itself. Hayden Valley is open to tourists again. Thousands drive through it every day. But if you're ever driving through at night and your windows start fogging up and you feel the temperature drop, don't stop, don't investigate, just drive. Because something walks that valley, something that feeds on heat, and it's always hungry.